Hello, everybody.
Yo.
Welcome to Burning Hammer Wrestling. We're back. My name is Seth Skinner. This is my buddy Dave. We talk about wrestling.
That's we kind of talk about wrestling.
That's our slogan now.
Our slogan. We kind of talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
No, we talk about wrestling.
You can head over to w.gg, use the promo code CLEARSHOTS. It's all one word. It gets you 10% off your whole order that supports the show. Also, like and subscribe to all the YouTube stuff, or if you're on Spotify, whatever, on your platform. If there's a little button down there that helps us out, use that.
Use it, yeah. Do the thing.
So that's all out of the way. All that stuff's out of the way.
All that bullshit.
Get it out of the way quick.
Yeah. So what's up?
Well, I don't know. I watched a lot of WWE this week.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And like I said before we started recording, I didn't watch a lot of AEW. I want to watch Dynamite 300.
Yeah, Dynamite 300.
I did watch some highlights and stuff like that, but I didn't watch the whole show yet. I
definitely want to see that. Just haven't had a chance to see it yet.
No, I mean it came out yesterday.
Yep.
I don't watch them live usually. I watch them the day after, a couple days later.
Yep. Time of recording this is the day after it happened. So
yes. Yep. So yeah, I watched SmackDown Night of Champions. There was Raw. One thing, so I did write this down like as a major note I wanted to talk about. Commentating. So obviously McAfee's out for a while.
Yeah.
But like I feel like WWE needs more. It's like I like Michael Cole, and I've never had a problem with the way he calls things. But I feel like we need more like play-by-play. Like if you go back and listen to like Jim Ross,
I was just about to say
the way
where they actually
calls,
call the action taking place in the match,
right? And side headlock takeover, you know what I mean? And he's calling things like as the match progresses.
Yeah, actual play-by-play.
Yes, actual play-by. Not like it feels like they're not presenting it as a wrestling match. They're presenting it as a show.
Yes,
which is fine because that's what it is. But like I like
I get what you're saying.
In depth.
I totally agree. I love Michael Cole. Right?
It's almost analyst.
There's no commentators really that are working for WWE right now that I don't think are good. It's the intended presentation style is far removed from having a traditional play-by-play guy calling it like it's a sport.
Correct. One thing I did notice is like when you listen to Taz, he does that really well.
Yeah.
Taz is pretty good about calling.
He's a good commentator.
What is happening in the ring.
Taz has been a good commentator for a long time. He was good when he commentated in WWE as well. Wasn't he a SmackDown commentator for a long time?
Yep. That was during the brand split.
Yeah. He's very, very good actually as a commentator. I really like Taz. Just saying, I really like Taz a lot in general. I've always liked Taz. I thought he's a part of one of the most important storylines of all of ECW when it was him versus Sabu.
Yeah.
And he's just been a really good commentator.
I was watching Dynamite and I noticed it and I was like, oh, I don't know. I feel like there's something that it's something that's missing in WWE. Like
I get that.
I get
that. Something that they're not hitting it right with their commentary.
It feels like they're too far removed from the match in a weird way. They're trying to build the characters
and tell stories without actually just calling the match.
Yeah, call the match.
Yeah. They're so focused on everything else. Until finishers and signatures happen.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like, oh, we got him with the Cody cutter or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or and looking for that reversed or whatever.
Actually calling the whole match,
Right.
Yeah. I wonder why.
No, JR was just so good at that.
Well, he's the greatest of all time. He was the best I've ever seen at actually calling the match while doing the job of dictating the pace of the commentary and the broadcast.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
And then having color guys. He worked well with literally every color guy I've ever seen him with.
Yeah, it's one of the things like I wish I didn't notice.
Yeah.
You know?
I get it. I get that.
Because now
sure.
I'm going to not be able to.
Every time you're watching, you're going to be thinking about it. That'll fade with time, though.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that'll fade with time.
The problem is you go over
like,
and listen to Taz, and then you're like, oh, shit. He's doing pretty fucking well here. But
if anything, bonus points for AEW, you know? They've got Taz, and he's a great commentator, and he fills that void that's not being filled elsewhere.
No, they have good commentary over there. I don't mind.
AEW? Yeah, I agree. I think their commentary is, like, I don't have an issue with their commentary. People will shit on, like, Jim Ross and shit for forgetting a name, and it's like, brother, he's been commentating for legit 50 years.
Yeah, how old is he?
Probably
he's got to be 60
give it
something
slack.
now, 70 something, right?
Yeah,
what is he,
I'm pretty sure he started commentating in the late 70s, maybe early 80s.
Jim Ross.
Yeah, when did he
73 years old.
Yep. Yeah, and he started in his 20s, I'm pretty sure. Like, when did it... Here we go. NWA Tri-State. 74, dude.
Oh, my God.
When he was offered a position with NWA Tri-State, he began his career with the promotion in 74 as a referee. He joined the broadcast team in 77. So he's 2 years out from 50 years of commentary work.
Yeah,
that is wicked crazy.
He doesn't really, he's very selective about what he does now. But
yeah, well, of course, yeah,
you kind of have to be. But
very happy to hear he beat his cancer. Big fan, or at least the treatments were successful. There's no more cancer right now, and he's in recovery phase, from what I understand. But
Wikipedia's got a dark mode now.
Good.
It's finally 2025.
I can actually read it now. That's nice.
Yeah. Wow. It's cool.
Yeah, dude, Jim Ross. I mean, who's better? Who's ever been better? In any sport ever. He might be my favorite broadcaster ever in anything that's had broadcasting. Even just random TV shows and shit. Not even sports. Just anybody who's ever had to call and pace out a show via being the lead broadcaster on an event. He's the best I've ever heard anywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe not right this second today at 70-something years old, but he had like a 30-year prime where he was the best ever for 30 years straight. You know what I mean? It doesn't even seem possible.
No, I can agree with that. There's a lot of
because by the time it's the 80s, he's already the best broadcaster.
Yeah.
Like his work with Shivani and stuff in the NWA is so good.
Well, he has a unique voice and a unique accent, and just the way it's just I don't know. It just the guy also he just gets wrestling.
Yeah, he's done it. He's been around it forever.
It's weird because there's a lot of commentators I can think of, even football commentator or baseball commentator that I can think of that are great, but I think a lot of it comes from nostalgia and things like that. And JR, obviously you get a lot of nostalgia from him, but
you do.
He's objectively he was objectively
his skill level, the amount of memorable calls.
Oh my God.
And then just how good he was at actually calling matches and controlling
That's what I mean.
The broadcast,
the breakdown,
actual skill set.
Yeah.
He's the best I've ever heard. And then he has 50 million of the most memorable calls.
I think it's
I've ever heard.
the whole the idea of calling it between the ropes.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think it's just not it's not as common these days. I don't know if that's intentional or if...
To me, he has the single what I consider to be possibly the best call ever for summing up what wrestling is about. And what it's about is implied lore recognition. So it's the most magical, most powerful moments in wrestling are when there's tons of lore leading up to it, in and out of the ring.
Yeah.
and they're able to pull from that decades later to create a moment with an audio clip of commentary next to it that tells so much of the story in so little.
Right.
And to me, the best I've ever heard of that was Rock versus Hogan at WrestleMania 18.
Yeah.
When Hogan hits the leg drop and goes to pin him, and JR just screams, he beat Andre the Giant with that move.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the perfect wrestling call ever. It's one sentence, but the amount of lore and importance and impact of what you're seeing is elevated the highest I've ever heard anything get elevated in wrestling because of just what that means.
Yeah, and it's sort of the Avengers Endgame effect where you want, this larger picture to come into play.
Yep, it's Captain America at the end of Endgame catching Thor's hammer, and the crowd's like, we've been waiting for this for 20 movies or whatever,
Yeah.
Like,
or if you're like me and you don't watch all 20 movies.
You just watch Endgame and see that and go, that's cool, I guess.
That was all right.
Yeah. And the people that have been watching since Iron Man 1 are just in tears, flipping out.
I haven't watched a lot of those.
Yeah, really, dude, whatever. It don't matter.
I've heard good things about them.
Regardless of what you like or don't like about Marvel movies, tons of people hate on them. That's fine.
But there's a lot of world building as well.
But the reality is that every single one of these movies, there's 20 movies or something like that. They're all tied together, building lore.
Yeah.
Good or bad, it's still lore that they pull from 20 movies later.
Right.
Yeah. Long form storytelling over a decade of movie releases is powerful, whether anybody thinks it is or not. It just is. It's like great bands that use reoccurring memorable moments across their catalog,
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Film score, it's Star Wars. It's the second you hear any of the music from that,
there's a motif.
It hits because
themes.
The music is implying and making the listener attach the melody to all their memories of the moments that happened in that universe, and that's what makes it powerful. And that's what the greatest broadcasting does when combined with guys that have the amount of lore to do it.
Yeah.
It's like when Cody won the belt at WrestleMania 40, Michael Cole just says, finish your story or whatever. Finish the story. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's such a powerful moment because of just how much lore there is to it.
Yes, it makes
He's the first guy in his family in real life to actually officially be WWE World Heavyweight Champion, like the WWE Champion. You know what I mean?
Forms of audio carry that very well.
They do.
Like nostalgic.
Yes.
Yes. So, when you have, and that's the thing, when you hear Jim Ross, you think it all rushes back. You know what I mean? Just the Attitude Era in general comes back for me.
Yep. My actual favorite broadcast call ever isn't even the Hogan one. Like that example I just give as I think that is a really strong example of what really great commentary can be with how simple it is, but how much weight and meaning and lore is behind what's being said. If you know, if you don't, you just go, oh, that's cool. But for the people watching at that time that are our age that we are now, but they were our age at WrestleMania 18, and when they were kids, they were watching Hogan beat Andre with it and fucking crying and shit. You know what I mean? That gets brought back up 20 years later in a story that involves Hogan. It's it's just insane, bro.
But Jim Ross was so good at it. Even if it's
or
not
10 years
that,
later, or
right?
whatever,
So
15,
there was the match between. This was on my. It's on my matches for us to watch. Our showdown swap matches. It's on my list somewhere.
Okay.
It's a Raw match, and it's between Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
And there's a moment where he goes, "Climb the ladder, kid." He goes, "Make yourself famous."
Make yourself famous.
My God, it's just
dude.
and it's not, it's just
and the crowd's going insane.
Yeah,
and they can't even hear Jim.
No, it doesn't matter. It made it so.
That's one of my favorite moments in Raw history.
Yeah, and that was a Raw. That was a Raw. A weekly show, just a Raw ladder match between The Undertaker and Jeff Hardy.
That match is so good too.
Yeah, that's not a pay-per-view match. That's just they're just doing it on a weekly show.
My favorite JR promo or microphone moment of all time, my favorite quote is actually when is it Rikishi that attacks Austin and Triple H comes out and is attacking Austin, and then he's just like he gets down in Austin's face and he's like, "It was me, you stupid son of a bitch," or whatever. And then JR is screaming, going, he's like, "Damn you, Triple H, you son of a bitch. Why? Tell me why." Like that.
And it fucking goes to, that's the end of the show.
The end of the show is him going, "Why, you son of a bitch? Tell me why." Like, it's so intense. But then when you actually break down, like, why the fuck would he tell you? Why would he tell you? Yeah. And why do you even why is he would even think that? Like it's so it's so funny, but his crash out moments on broadcast, specifically against Triple H.
So good, yes.
He was so important to Triple H's career as a bad guy because he just was like constantly saying this guy's the devil. And telling him, "Damn you, Triple H."
He was great with that, throughout his whole career. Austin just shook hands with the devil, like all that. All he just was.
His lines are so iconic.
Yeah, and it's like I don't
irreplaceable.
I don't know
They're
how
just so uniquely
out
him
or thought of it. It was maybe it was off the top of his head, and I don't know.
He probably just had a vocabulary of all these quips and stuff that he just had that he'd been sitting on that he would pull from once in a while, he was too good.
They killed him.
Yep. With God as my witness, he's broken in half.
Dude, I don't know. Man. It's just, it's one of those things I noticed that I was like, I just feel like they need somebody that can, even if Michael Cole wants to start calling things a little bit more like,
I don't know if it's his style.
It's not. That's the thing.
I don't think it makes him bad. It's just a different style.
Right, and I just miss that style.
I miss JR's style, but we don't have another guy that does what he does. And I feel like WWE right now, both guys do what Cole does. You know what I mean? Cole and Tessitore, and Tessitore's great. He came in and really got good fast.
Tessitore's been good. Okay.
But he's trying to do what Cole does.
Yes, yeah. Tessitore wants to. Style. He wants to commentate it like it's a college football game.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's right for it.
I don't know if it is either.
He's got a great voice.
He has that. I think that's probably why I like him so much, because I haven't heard him say anything wicked stupid that makes me like, okay. And his voice is good, and he seems like he's composed,
and he's always on. Yeah,
and he's on. You know what I mean? He's a weathered pro of broadcasting.
He's a professional commentator.
So he's just like, I could sit on whatever bench and I'll be okay.
Yeah,
it's just getting extraordinary at it when it comes to specifically WWE's product. Is a lot trickier than
it's tougher when you're a guy who's come into WWE. Like you want to be a guy who's a wrestling commentator.
That's right. Yeah. I think Corey Graves is one of the best commentators in the industry right now.
Graves is really good.
He is incredible. Yeah. He's not like, I think he could do a broadcast lead if they asked him to, like to go, "Hey, Cole's sick. We need you to sit in with Pat."
I think he could.
I could do it. No question. I could do whatever you need at the highest level.
I think he could too. Yeah,
me too.
You watch like in the 2K games, I'll have him doing showcase modes and stuff like that.
He's too good, man.
He's really good at that.
Incredible. And I love him as a color guy. He's probably my favorite color guy in all of wrestling right now, as far as commentary. Yeah. I like Pat when he's specifically with Cole and their dynamic. They have such great chemistry.
Yes, but it's a different thing.
It's different.
They're totally different vibes. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Pat for like big.
I wish Pat would come in and do pay-per-views and stuff and be a third man.
Right.
Be a third man and go back to having some shows be three, where you have a lead broadcaster and two color guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they did.
I just think Graves is good enough and has paid his dues and deserves to be a highest profile broadcaster
Yeah.
in the industry. You know, like he should be doing Raw or SmackDown every week and doing every fucking pay-per-view. Every like SummerSlam, Mania,
I think a lot of
Rumble,
people agree with that.
You know
I
what
mean,
I
when
mean?
you look at
He's too
socials,
good.
it's like people are like wicked polarized on McAfee.
Yeah, they
And
are.
so-
But you never hear shit about Graves except for this dude's incredible. Or at least I don't ever
Well,
see
most
it.
of the time, yeah, people like Corey. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that.
No, it doesn't mean I don't like Pat.
No,
I actually really like
I like
Pat.
the energy he brings. And
Me
all that
too.
yeah.
And he so clearly loves it and is all in on it, you know? He just has another world that he
does
loves
other
that
shit.
much, you know?
And that's what I'm saying about Tessitore. It's like he also has other shit he does, and it's like I don't know, but Pat does a lot. You know,
he doesn't just have
his own show. He
podcast
does College Game Day, and
Yeah,
he's doing a lot of shit. So,
and that's fine, but
yeah, like I said, you want guys who are wrestling commentators.
I would really like to see him reach a point eventually where all the other stuff he realizes, like, you know, I could work a lot less and make plenty of money if I just start doing WWE only.
I just don't think he'll do it.
I don't need well, but that's my point. I don't think he ever will do that because
he likes having.
He really loves
Yeah.
everything else he's doing too, and that's okay. I don't hate that he's doing the other stuff. What I hate is that because he's famous on social media and because he's famous outside of the company and stuff, he gets to come in when he wants and go, bye, Corey.
Sure.
Corey's not the one. Corey's not the guy that deserves to have anybody go, you have to move out of a seat you deserve now. I just don't. That's never going to vibe with me.
I wouldn't mind him being over on NXT. Or I mean on SmackDown.
Yeah, me neither. But then it's like, well, who's the guy on SmackDown? Oh, it's Barrett. He's also fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And so I get it.
Yeah,
but I get it. And when he went to NXT, Corey, he went there as a third man on a team that already existed that was already good with Booker T and what's that guy's name? He's good too. The like Michael Cole guy in NXT.
Oh yeah, I can see his face. I can't.
He's really good. I can't. His name's right on the top of my tongue. That's lame. Either way, the guy's really good. Yeah, I definitely want to get his name because he's good. It's worth shouting out. Vic Joseph. Yeah. Vic Joseph's really good. Booker T's obviously really good. But Corey Graves is like having Corey Graves come in to NXT elevates the broadcast quality of NXT massively.
Yeah.
It just does. But it already has good broadcasting, you know?
I think that's why they like him there. Because it's you know, they need like a veteran guy
which is crazy to say.
For a long time.
Yep. Yeah, he has. Yeah. That's why I was just saying that. Like, it's crazy to say, but he is a veteran.
Yeah.
You know? He's been around forever, man. He's so good. I fucking love Corey's work.
Yeah, I think well that's just the bottom line there is I just miss that stuff, the play-by-play.
Yeah, I know.
Minor calls, you know what I mean?
Minor calls, yeah.
Just stuff that's you know.
Oh, that scissors takedown.
Yes,
he's transitioning into a arm, you know, whatever.
He needs to break the lock.
He's trying to get him into
break the hold here or whatever. You know, like break it down, like because you know MMA.
It's almost like they assume everybody knows that stuff, and it's like you don't have to.
It's almost like it's presumed that everybody knows now. Which I mean, in a way they do, but I still want to hear it.
I get, exact. I get why they would think that because everybody thinks they're a fucking genius of wrestling now. Because the internet, you know?
That's funny, too, because I read something about how, like, the WWE writers have said that they don't listen to the internet and they only listen to... It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, of course they say that.
So what happened with WrestleMania 40? Remind me of that one again.
Yep. Also,
you didn't listen to the internet on that one?
It's the dumbest.
You only listened to the crowd. The crowd told you that.
But of course they're going to tell you they don't, though. Because they're trying to work bozos. They love it. They love working the crowd.
Well, yeah, it's like
working the guys online who think they have everything figured out.
The whole thing, the whole wrestling is about your whole fan base. So what better way to get in, you know, to see what they're saying than look at what they're saying on the internet?
Of course.
I mean, that's so
You do have to
stupid.
take it with a grain of salt because it's like any women's wrestler. Just ignore all the if you get 2,000 comments, my guess is that 1,900 of them are guys being like, next time have your fucking feet out and just gross shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just, we live in America. We live in the world with pervert guys on the internet. It's a deal, you know?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Ignore those. But when everybody's commenting, being like, what is the deal with frickin' LA Knight not getting used or something? Look
Where's
what that
Karrion
did for his
Kross?
career. Yeah, Karrion Kross. Yeah. Good example of it happening literally right now, you know? They'd be stupid not to pay attention to that when there's
Right.
so many people going, hey, you've got to get this guy in the mix. He's
You're
good.
looking at your metrics on merch sales and all that stuff, so you can't tell me you're not looking at socials.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I mean, speaking of Karrion Kross, he's feuding with Sammy, which is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Sammy's a major guy.
Yes.
And he's feuding with him right now in an actual storyline and just had a match with him in Saudi.
Yep.
And it was wicked good.
Yeah, I thought that's
about
on here somewhere.
time, dude.
Yeah, the Zayn. Yeah, that was interesting because it's like, I don't know. Either one of these guys could have won this and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I wonder. It felt like there needed to be more storytelling in that match. The way they built it up. You know what I mean?
I don't think
the
they're
way
done
Cross
with that.
Was trying to get in his. I
because
hope they're not.
He instantly attacked Sammy.
Yeah, I hope that
right?
keeps going because
that wasn't the same night though, right? Wasn't that Raw?
Night of Champions was that match.
Yeah, but
the
this
night before,
past Raw that just happened, didn't Cross instant jump and attack Sammy in the back and beat the shit out of him?
I think so.
Yeah. So they're obviously they're not done yet.
Yeah, I think that is.
They're having it seems like what they're doing with Cross is going, who do we have who's a major guy?
Well, Sammy's perfect.
It is because they're going, who do we have that's a really major top level, world champion level guy? One of those guys.
Yeah.
That's not currently in the middle of a major story they cannot get away from.
Well, Sami Zayn is like always.
Sammy was
he's so good at making people look good anyway.
Oh my god, yeah, he's one of the best ever at doing that. But he's also like a litmus test for who can go without having to risk it looking bad, because he'll make it look good, and then he'll go in the back and go, "Not this guy." You know what I mean?
Right.
And they trust him because he's been around as a reliable worker for so long at the highest level.
Yeah,
Same with Kevin Owens,
and Sammy's not like mega concerned with like titles, you know what I mean?
He's done everything. Right. The only thing he hasn't done is win the big one yet, and he will.
Which I'm sure, yeah.
He's going to. It's inevitable.
Yeah, that'll be one of those.
But I just thought it was cool how like what they did for Cross, because they're like, dude, the dude's good. Triple H knows he's good. Why are we not finding anything real for this guy? How do we get this guy in the mix? And now the audience is making us have to listen to this guy.
Well,
he's getting himself over online. And it's not Vince anymore who goes, he's over online. Fuck this guy. We bury him. Like they did with fucking Cardona.
Yeah. It's also weird though, because you see like, you saw Truth get released, like, didn't get renewed.
Yep.
Even when he's in like a major feud, as major as it gets with Cena, and then also having merch sell really well.
Yeah.
So now Cross's contract is coming up.
Yep.
So if I'm looking at this, we've talked about it already.
Yeah.
We had why didn't they work the R-Truth thing?
I don't know.
Why don't they do that now? Do that with Cross.
Yeah. People thought they were working with Truth.
Right.
They thought it was a work.
So why not do that
do
now?
it with Cross.
Yeah.
And have people think he's released, and then just have him show up out of nowhere and attack a major star again.
Have people be pissed about it.
Yep.
And then
he shows up and he attacks fucking Sammy again or some shit,
Yeah.
But he's clearly a guy who's good enough and seemingly gets along in the back well enough. From what I see online and stuff, I don't ever hear anything about the other wrestlers hating him or thinking he doesn't deserve to be in the high level mix.
Right.
It seems like he's got a lot of guys pulling for him. So in that regard, and with everything he's been able to do online and it's kind of clicking for him,
Yeah.
I don't see them letting him just disappear. I see him because they put him in with Sammy and he's delivered on everything and shown he can work at a high level.
I think that was the big
and that was the
test.
test.
Yeah.
That's what I think is that's what I was getting at with that. Exactly.
I think he needs
Sammy
a little bit of
the guy.
I think he needs to work on his in-ring storytelling a little bit.
Sure. I think he's great, but I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Yeah, I can't argue with I don't know. The match was like it was like a B, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest match ever, but it was good enough to where it was at the level it needed to be a pass in the test for him.
To convince people that,
to go, oh, this guy is one of those guys that can be in that mix with your Drews and your fucking LA Knights and shit.
I think it's all a matter of what they want to do with half these people, because
they have so many guys. Because what are you going to do with them?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
what are you going to do with them if you bring them up? That's what I don't like. Is it's the roster's so overstacked.
Yeah.
With guys that deserve to be main event level guys. What do you do with them? They're doing a great job of finding stuff to do with a lot of these guys, but there's always going to be a handful of guys that we're looking at going, what about this guy? And I just don't want to see him get released because they don't have anything for him when other guys are going, we want to work with this guy and we have ideas, and they're just getting shut down for no reason.
Right.
As long as that's not what's going on. Because if what it is they're going, you are nasty, but you're not more nasty than the top 20 fucking guys we got. So we don't have a way. Like, we legit can't move you up. So we have to let you go.
I think part of it is
sucks.
like,
I don't like that that's possible. But
I think WWE's been good at building superstars.
They're in a and
I think
spot.
That's a problem.
It is that I think we've talked about that before, but right now it's never been more apparent. Where it's like back in the day, like in the Attitude Era, they had this problem as well. Or no, they didn't. They kind of did.
Well, the Attitude Era was different because they threw like major stars together in feuds for long periods of time.
But then you'd also have Meat versus APA or some stupid shit. Yeah. And all those guys we remember fondly, but when that was the time, we just thought all those guys were fucking who cares guys.
Yeah.
And you'd fight them all the time and no mercy and shit. You know what I mean?
Like Big Boss Man.
Yeah, it was just a who gives a shit guy. Yeah. I love Big Boss Man, respect him totally, but he was not Rock, Austin, Mankind, Triple H, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? He's respected as one of the boys, for their term or whatever. And he deserves it. And he was a great worker. And I actually remember Boss Man fondly.
Yeah.
But there was never going to be a scenario during the Attitude Era where that guy was going to be a believable WWE champion over Rock, Austin, Taker, Triple. You know what I mean?
Mankind.
No, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
And so I feel like
but that the thing
was a dense time.
Yes.
But now they have a different problem where there's a lot of guys who are believable for being able to move up into that spot. That's because there's no space.
That's because they've been able to build them well. And also, like, they introduce people well. Like, there's a couple that there's one I want to talk about specifically that wasn't really introduced well. But I think, when you see, like, Penta's debut, it's, like, very over the top. It's big. It presented well.
And he's instantly in the mix.
Yeah. And so, like, they build guys so easily and quickly.
Yep.
And that's great. And and if you can do that, that's great. But now you're putting yourself in a place where you're like, now we've built so many huge talents.
Yep.
What do we do with them to make them all effective, to keep them relevant? You know what I mean?
And they're doing a good job of finding storylines for guys that are major players that don't involve the titles, but still feel like they matter still are great work for these guys that draw money, and it's like it's all part of the team. You know what I mean? They've done a good job of that, but right now they've got, like, if you look at WWE in the early 90s, they had like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Undertaker, I don't know,
the British Bulldog.
They had like 6 guys who could be in the title picture, and 50,000 guys that you looked at and went, Duke the Dumpster Drowsy?
Yeah.
The
gobbledygooker
like,
and shit.
what are we fucking doing?
Right.
Isaac Yankum?
Yeah, it was a lot of gimmicky guys.
Come on.
They were throwing shit at the wall. And...
But what I'm getting at is they were working from the bottom where they're going, we are so hungry for the next guy and we can't find him. Now it's the exact opposite where they're going, we've got to stop finding the next guy 30 times because every one of these guys is good enough to be the next guy and they can't be. So what are we doing with these guys?
You have talent like Drew McIntyre and LA Knight and like guys
Damian Priest and Gunther and fucking Rollins and oh my God.
Yeah, it's guys that can be that. And it's just tough. It's
guys that have been it.
Part of it is like I think the way they're approaching this now, like if you look at like the main guys that are on the roster that are like featured the most, they're the older guys.
Yeah.
They're in their 40s.
Like Cena and Orton.
And I think it's like almost like they're trying to give these guys their time before they move on to
it's like you're not gonna have a Braun Breaker be the guy right now.
Right.
Yet is the key word. He's in his mid-20s. So it's like, it's fine. By the time he's 30, this motherfucker is gonna be world champ.
Yeah. Not only is he gonna be more developed, but he's also gonna have
but
people
other guys are going to have retired.
Yes.
Because it's going to have been fucking 10
And by
years.
then, you've also built the lore around him.
That's right.
So.
Yep. Exactly. I don't think it's going to take him 10 years to be world champ. But that's not my point. The point is that the natural order of things is that, and I agree with you, they've got guys right now at the top that I think are the top guy right now. And they will eventually pass the torch to younger guys that elevate to get to that level. And then enter legacy zone. I mean, where Undertaker was for the last 20 years of his career. You know what I mean?
Even Cody's getting up there. It's like their top talent is older. And so like I think they're in the
Roman
point
Reigns too, same deal.
Even sure. I mean, I think they're just giving them their time now. But the thing is, LA Knight's at the end of his career too. He's got to be.
Yeah. But and he hasn't had the big one yet.
You got to give this guy a push.
He's in the mix of those top guys though.
Yeah.
Like he is treated by the company and presented as a believable world champion.
Yeah.
He main evented a pay-per-view with Roman during Roman's run.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. Same with Sammy, same with Kevin Owens.
No, they pitched him well for sure.
Yeah, they did right by LA Knight while going, I understand that you are a world champion level guy.
Yeah.
But
how many
there are guys that are already in position, and we can't fuck over those guys. It's not fair to them.
They have so many belts now too, and it's like,
and he did a great job with the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for one of the best shirts ever. The fucking shirt of him on the boat holding the title. Like, they're so great. Classic. I wonder if you
can still get that.
I have it.
Do you?
Yeah, I have that.
I wonder if I can still get one of those.
Probably. But either way,
it's hard to find.
And then it just says, and the dash so LA Knight. It's
so hard to find like retired WWE merch.
Yeah.
Zelina Vega lost the title to Julia.
Yep. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I feel like Zelina needed she was
for longer,
cresting and really starting to hit a groove. And people are starting to get behind her a little bit.
Yep.
I don't think
I thought it was weird to I don't either. I don't think she got the time to really utilize the belt to make that transition to elevate up the card.
Yeah, I think they
and she deserves to. Dude, her match with fucking with
Chelsea?
No. Her match with fucking Rhea Ripley in Puerto Rico was incredible.
Oh, that was a good match, yeah.
That was a wicked good match and showed that she can hang in the world title scenario.
Yeah.
So it's just, she's one I just don't like that they haven't moved her into that world because she is that good.
She is really good.
And she could at least be feuding with somebody like a Bayley or some shit, you know?
I think they're waiting for her to have something like a catchphrase or something that grabs
something
the fans.
That I know, but she's still over. Like she still gets cheered. She's still over with the crowd.
But that's what my main point is. What does Julia have right now that
She's
over
just
Zelina
new.
Vega.
I don't think she has anything over her.
I think she's better in
don't.
the ring for
Yeah,
sure. But
that's different.
But I don't think it's character wise, aura wise, it's very different.
No. She's good. Don't get it twisted. I think Julia's wicked good.
Yeah. I just felt like it was a short run.
It's just weird that it's at the expense of specifically Zelina, who like deserves to finally have a real run with a belt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see her fucking get ignored for new talent when she's worked so hard to deserve to be in that spot.
For sure.
That's all.
I'm going to pause for a second. I want to turn the fan on. It's getting warm in here.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, we're in SmackDown right now.
Yeah.
Because that was the match, was the Julia Zelina Vega thing.
Yep.
The Wyatts. What? Like, so they seem like they don't have a direction right now for these guys.
I agree. It seems like it's been weird when they've been taking like the tag team division there and having them all squad up.
Yeah.
And then be ambushed and everybody's taken out by the Wyatts over and over again. It's like, what are you doing?
We've seen it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
At least like 3 times.
I don't know where that's going.
I don't either.
I don't have a fucking clue where that's going. Because the only logical answer to me is, okay, at what point are the tag team belts going to end up on the Wyatts, and then all these tag teams are going to have to try to get it off them? Because that's what it looks like they're building to.
I think they're stalling because they're trying to build the tag division, and it's good on SmackDown. It's really good.
The SmackDown tag division's nasty.
But the problem is, I would rather see so there's no tag division on Raw. Like, really?
It's weird.
So I would like to see some of these teams move around a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe if Street Profits went to Raw, or the Wyatts went to Raw or something. I don't know. It's just an odd. They're in this weird floaty space where they show up and it's like a cool thing, but like you're just going like, what is this really leading to? I can't see a single possibility of what they can do that is really going to grab anyone right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping when the Motor City Machine Guns came in that it was going to breathe new life into the tag division, and I feel like it did. But now trying to like use the entire tag team division as like a stall point for the Wyatts has been weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they're going with that. I'm with you. And when I watch it, I'm just going, what? I like that's what makes it even weirder for me is I like the Wyatt 6.
Yeah, I like
everybody involved. I like the concept.
Yeah.
I think they could do amazing things with it. And I think that
and they did.
The tag division's good.
Yeah.
I like all the teams involved.
Man, it was like, it's crazy because like when they teased the Wyatts, the whole thing was incredible.
And it seemed like it was going to be like a dominant faction.
It needs to be more. What they need is they need more. It doesn't need to be in-ring stuff. Don't worry about that right now.
They need the video stuff.
They need video packages, and they need Bo Dallas, like struggling with the Uncle Howdy persona, and I think they need to tell that kind of story first. We need more of a reason to care about it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because it started so strong.
Right, and just having them come out and ambush 3 different tag teams at once is not going to make us care about it.
It's not going to do anything. Nope. It doesn't. It accomplishes nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
It's just like...
it pops the crowd with a cheap pop of, oh shit, the Wyatts. Cool.
And that's
what's it matter?
Even that's starting to fade.
It is.
And you're seeing that.
They're ruining it by having them keep doing that.
Yeah. Less appearances is more with them.
With that group specifically, they should not be on TV for a month and then show up out of nowhere and do a bunch of wicked cool shit, tear the place apart like they did.
Have some of the glitchy things show up.
Because their debut is one of the best debuts I've seen in years.
They need to pick somebody who they're going to have them feud with down the line. Start showing vignettes with that, or not even vignettes. Just have backstage interviews, maybe have a glitch or whatever, and start teasing. He's coming after. Yep. That was the thing, was he was going after people. They had something going.
They did,
right? Because he was kind of having people reveal their true self, and like, that was all working until the injury.
Yeah, and then they disappeared. All of them disappeared.
And is that because the guys they were working with went into other feuds, or
I just didn't see any of them.
I don't know, dude.
The whole thing disappeared for months.
That one's tough for me. That one sucks because I
want to see it be incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you do it and make it incredible, though. The only way is to make the character of Uncle Howdy
matter
at a high level and put him in a high part of the card.
I wish they would.
He needs to be the Undertaker, too. It's the only way it works.
Yeah.
Like Old School Taker, where he's this mysterious figure who shows up and tortures the guys at the top. Like, why is he not kidnapping somebody like fucking LA Knight and tying him to a chair in a fucking horror movie set and interrogating him and talking to him about fucking a bunch of crazy shit?
I wish it was just Howdy.
And that, you know what I mean?
To be honest with
just Howdy would be incredible.
Because, so now you've put yourself in a situation where,
because what do you do with everybody else?
Right. And it's also like, okay, what if all their contracts expire? And
now they're all suddenly gone. Like, what happened to the Authors of Pain?
They will be gone because if they're not doing anything.
What's his face? His entire faction.
Yeah.
They Cross. They just went goodbye to your whole faction.
Right. So I wish it was Howdy. I wish they would establish more. Maybe, and I think Bo Dallas should be part of it. I really do.
Yeah.
Because they've already teased that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I just wish he was a singles wrestler. Really. I think that's what it comes down to.
I know, me
too. I didn't think about that until now, but I think that's the way they really...
I wish that Howdy was a singles wrestler.
Even if he had like a couple people, but because this faction's too big.
But it seems like they just never... It's the same thing that happened with Bray. It's, what is the deal? Is it that there's actually not good ideas and that's what's making it stall?
What is the deal is exactly...
Or is it that the company doesn't let them do all the good ideas, like the two sides of the coin with Bray, where he always argued that the company would fuck with his ideas and he wasn't allowed to really take everything where he wanted to take it. Yeah. But then the flip side was Triple H would always say, I absolutely loved working with Bray. I thought he was a creative genius, but he would spew 80 ideas and you couldn't get one of them right because of it, You couldn't get him to lock in on one.
Right.
And so it was chaos.
It's like an Alex Jones
and we
situation.
never were able to get anywhere with any of his shit.
Yeah, just spewing shit out.
Yeah, and it's like, I hope that's not what's going on. I hope it's not more of that.
I don't see Boaz doing that, though.
Me neither, but I just mean I hope...
I think creative just doesn't have the idea.
They don't. They just have no idea what to do with them, and it's like...
It's weird, though, because like I said, it looked like they did have a direction for it.
I'll tell you what the move is with him, though. He's got to be treated like a major threat at a main event level. Not necessarily the main event, but that tier of guys. It
wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to say fuck the tag division.
If he's not scaring the shit out of fucking Drew McIntyre and LA Knight and all those guys, those era of guys, if he's not in that mix, you wasted him.
I think that's the move. Even if you keep the Wyatt
Six together. It doesn't have to be the world title he's going after.
It doesn't have to be the tag division at all.
No, fuck no.
I think if you just say...
Like, you can have the tag team in the faction go there.
Give him...
But not Howdy, though.
It's they want him to be a baby face, though.
I don't know. I don't know how...
So you can't feud him with Knight, because he's way over as a baby face.
Not if you're trying to make Howdy a babyface. Just don't make him a babyface.
Drew McIntyre would
make him a terrifying fucking ghoul. I think McIntyre who scares the shit out of everybody.
McIntyre would be a good.
McIntyre would be great. Have him play with McIntyre's strengths,
because McIntyre's always
and exposes fears.
Well, he's very confident in himself all the time.
That's what I mean.
That's his character.
Toy with his strengths and expose his fears.
Yes, make it so he.
Because then you give him something to overcome.
Yes. Well, it would be cool to see McIntyre start to question himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you get him to question himself and have to overcome this new evil, Yeah,
something like that would be good. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming here, I guess. But
yeah. Same. Obviously, we're just fucking fantasy booking.
Yeah,
but
it's a tough
that's
situation.
the type of shit I want to see Howdy doing that fits the weight of his character and the legacy of his character, and they're just not even close to doing that.
It all comes back to how many people we have here. Yeah, is part of the problem.
It's just too much.
Let's see. Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. That was the last woman standing. That was a decent match. Yep. I didn't mind that. That was cool seeing that on SmackDown. I always like when they do throw in stipulation matches.
Me too.
On weeklies. Cena and Punk. That was a cool segment. The Thugonomics.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that was really cool. That whole thing's been cool with the Cena pipe bomb, and because
their whole feud has been incredible.
Yeah, it's been very good.
The Cena pipe bomb was legitimately incredible. One of the best promos of his career. Mm-hmm. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was interesting. They he called out Claudio, and I think good. It was cool seeing Cardona.
Yeah,
with the little nod to it too.
Yeah. I love that shit.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then Night of Champions, which we already talked about that one match, the Sami Zayn one.
Yeah. But Night of Champions,
it was not bad.
It wasn't bad. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I didn't mind it, right? But the biggest thing about it for me that I just thought the most important thing of the whole night by 100 miles was Cena Punk. It felt like the entire show was all that mattered.
The build
was like Cena Punk.
It was a month-long build, or over a month.
It was it's the last time, or it might not be, but you know what I mean? It was billed as like, hey, this might be the last time these guys work each other. Yeah. Ever. Yeah. And they are each other's greatest rivals.
Sure.
If Cena's greatest rival isn't Punk, the only other guy is Orton, period. And that's like kind of universally understood. His two greatest rivals of his entire career are Orton and Punk.
It's probably Punk.
For me, it's Punk personally.
I think it's Punk.
Because of the scale of the work they did together.
Yeah.
But Orton is a valid other guy to say as his greatest rival. I think everybody understands how big of a deal those two guys were of their era. They were the two biggest guys of their era, pretty much.
I think at least in WWE. I think as a feud, if I looked at it that way, I would definitely say Punk. But I think if you look at it in the overall scope, obviously Punk wasn't there for a while. So
yeah, that's my point.
You gotta say it's Orton.
It's Orton
he was
for how much they did together.
Yin to the yang.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they're both viable.
Yeah,
they're both valid.
Yeah,
and they both got to have one more with them, man.
Yeah,
I love this run of Cena because storyline wise, I know some fans are weird about it. But he's telling you he's ruining wrestling. But what he's actually giving you, he's trying to just do his best to figure out a way to make it make sense, to give you all the dream matches one more time that everybody wanted. He gave us him versus R-Truth, dude.
Right. It's the way that they're trying to explain how we can justify giving you these matches. But I also think it's cool that Charles Robinson got absolutely obliterated.
Poor little H. That was pretty good. Yeah.
But it was really cool seeing Cena with the title.
Yeah.
And he's gonna hit him with it, right? But Cena starts thinking about it, and you're starting to see this like
the cracks in the facade.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's only gonna
That's good though. And the crowd's starting to get behind him again. They're starting to be like, dude, you're just too good. We are going to cheer you.
Oh, it's hard to not. I mean, be compelled
he's too good.
He's
too good.
It's almost weird because he can do whatever he wants and it's still compelling.
Yeah, Cena's one of the most compelling wrestlers in the history of the business.
Yeah,
everything he touches is pure platinum. It's diamond only. Everything he touches. And if you put a mic in his hand, it's even crazier.
Yeah, for sure.
To me, Cena's the best talker I've ever seen in my life. Over Heyman. I think Cena's the best talker I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, you don't see Cena like stumble a lot.
Ever.
Yeah.
And it will never change. Yeah, he's been that good for decades, and he's only ever been better. He only ever is better.
And you can tell he's off the top of his head, too, a lot of the time.
He's too good, man. He's too good. Too good. I have seen so many Cena promos in my lifetime that were fucking 10 minutes long that had everybody in the audience dead silent.
It's
just
one
going,
of those.
oh my
He's
God.
one of those guys that's just like he just always seems really clear headed. You know, there's something weird, like Cody Rhodes, and
dude, he's so good.
You know, you just have like this.
Cody is incredible.
Like some people wake up and they're, you know, I have days where I wake up and I'm foggy and shit. It just seems like Cena
I have
never
months
has
where
that.
I wake up all month and I'm just like on autopilot.
Yeah, exactly. You know? But it just seems like Cena never has that. He's always on this,
dude,
like
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know how he does. Even when people talk about like meeting him and shit, they're like, "Oh, I bumped into Cena at a bar in Boston randomly 22 years ago, and he was the most single, gracious, caring, easygoing, easy to approach guy I've ever met in my entire life."
I saw a video.
While he's the biggest star in the world in the business.
I think I saw it on it was on Instagram or something. There was like a guy who ran into Cena backstage, and he was like, and Cena was telling him not to film. He was like, "Hey, if you're gonna film, you know, like I'm a big fan of what was it? I don't remember. Oh, big fan of consent." He was like, I just would appreciate it if you asked me before you started filming. It's like, all right, well, everybody else is filming, so like, what are we doing here? And then it like snap cuts, and Cena comes back and straight up apologizes to the guy.
Yep.
And
it's like, I wasn't trying to be mean to you at all.
Yeah.
You have to understand that a lot of people walk up to me and just start fucking filming me.
Right. And it's one of those things experience. Like, I think a lot of people would have just walked away and let that be. Yeah. But like, Cena is different in that.
It mattered. He was like, I don't want in his head, think I'm pissed at you.
Yeah. And I think it's his conscience too. He goes, well,
because he gives a shit. He's actually a human.
Yeah. I can't really. Yeah, it's something that's good. It might weigh on him, you know, mentally. Yeah.
It mattered to him to make sure that this fan who sees it as a huge deal that he's randomly meeting Cena.
Yeah,
he wanted to make sure. It mattered to him to make sure this guy knew, like, I'm not pissed at you. Right. I don't want you to feel bad about this.
I think it's.
I just want you to understand where I came. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at no point should anybody think it's cool to just walk up. Hey.
Well, no, definitely don't stick a camera.
Yeah, that's face. That just is weird. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I think paparazzi is the fakest, lamest, weirdest job anybody could ever try to say is their job. I get paid to stalk famous people, film them in their face, antagonize them to try to trigger them so they cause a scene for clickbait.
Yeah.
And so I could try to smear them for my wallet. Like, how much bigger of a piece of shit do you have to be as a human to decide I want to do that for a living?
And just the way they are.
It is inherently slimy to give a fuck about wanting to film famous people coming out of their driveway to get their mail and shit. Like, to me, that's just super sleazy. Or some shit. Yeah. And that is people. There's people who do that job and sit there behind the phone filming these guys, going, "You can't touch me. You can't touch me. You can't say this. I'm allowed to do this. This is my job." And they know they're just being a fucking piece of shit. And if one guy smacks them, they earned it. And everybody watching goes, "God, I wish he would have killed that guy or whipped his ass."
But then they're going to try and
just smacking him.
Or something.
But they instantly press charges and instantly smear campaign the guy for reacting how any human would logically react.
Plus, they have the video, so they can just
a fucking camera in his face.
They can just edit it so it looks like, you know, only the bad part. You know,
it's such a shithole industry.
I think there's people like Cena that have this they look at any sort of mental weight as something that is weighing them down. So if you have this like weird thing on your conscience where you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that to that guy. I should have been nice."
He has to clear it, or he can't sleep
because it's not. He doesn't feel like he's at his optimal. You know what I mean? And it's a weird mental state.
A fuck.
Yes.
And there's guys like Vince McMahon.
I think there's people
who
like
are
that.
so famous for never even thinking about that.
Opposite.
Why would I care that I cut this guy off and then fucking, you know, whatever.
But I think there's guys that are
why would I care if I ruin this guy's life?
Right. There's people that are they feel like they can't be at their peak if they're not, doing things right.
Yeah. They've got to be. He is a guy who seems like it matters to him that he can look in the mirror and look at himself in the eye and go, I'm not a piece of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? He seems like that.
It seems like that. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. But I don't know him. He could be wicked fucking depraved in real life.
Yeah, he could be a total piece of trash.
I know that he's a wicked funny comedic actor who's done some shot shit.
Yeah. Have you seen Ricky Stenicki?
I was just going to say Stenicki is shot, bro. I like that shit.
That's one of the better comedy movies I've seen in a long time.
That movie's very funny, and he's wicked fucked up.
You never see good comedies anymore. And that's
a real one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because good comedies are wicked fucked up.
Yeah, that was a
really usually, good one. And that's a really fucked up comedy.
Yeah, his character was great there.
But that's my point. Like Cena just comes off like a really genuine dude.
Yeah,
which is so ironic because people used to try to say he was fake. It's like, what? He might be the realest guy on TV.
What do you mean he's fake? Like they're all fake.
His
all
gimmick is fake. No, like exact. What do you mean?
They're all.
What
fake.
do you mean? He's like you mean the guy on the TV show with the microphone playing a character is fake?
What are you talking about?
What? I don't get it, dude. It's so dumb.
Solo Sikoa won the U.S. title.
Yeah,
off of Jacob Fatu. I don't hate this necessarily. I don't think Fatu needs the belt.
No.
Solo would benefit from this.
Fatu's a guy who is already obviously ready to go feud with that circle of the top guys.
Sure, yeah. I just think
I think people want him to.
Solo just needs something. I think he would need that more than.
Yeah, I think so. Sure. I think it could help him. I think Solo is underappreciated.
Solo's got a lot of value, and
and he's very good.
It's another case that they didn't know what to do with him. Yeah. And it's cool seeing his character.
I see, and they're trying to build up the bloodline behind him and move it into a thing that's not the main story.
Yeah, and that's one thing I don't know about.
I don't know either. But I am glad that Tongaloa came back, the guy that's obsessed with botching in funny ways.
Yeah.
Right? Tongaloa?
Well, no, it was what's his face from?
Hikuleo or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Hikuleo or whatever.
Yeah, they're
going to call him dude, that was funny too. When Michael Cole was like, that's Tamatonga, his brother. It was like the call was
my God, bro.
I don't know if he must not have had a name, but I think what I read is they're going to call him Tala Tonga. Because apparently it's his brother by blood.
Yeah. As far as I know, it actually is. Yeah.
I don't know if Cole just didn't have the name on him.
He probably
what that
didn't have a name yet. Yeah.
Because they
either way, funny commentary moment.
Yeah, that
guy's a big guy. He's a large human.
I'm just like over them throwing more people into the bloodline.
There's just more guys.
Yeah.
There's more guys
because it just doesn't get the reaction it's meant to get. I don't.
The funniest thing they could do with
people
it would
mostly
be have
don't know who they
Joe
are.
Come back and join it. People were like, we know he's
Samoa Joe.
Is it just because he's Samoan? And he comes out and he's like, I'm Samoan.
It even says Samoan in the name.
Yeah.
How much more literal could they be?
No, Joe's a guy. If he ever comes back to the WWE, he's going to be instantly only in that Drew McIntyre, Priest, Gunther circle, like the top guys.
Yeah.
And then it's going to only be because he's just getting one more run in WWE before he retires and goes straight into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I
said
with Jericho the other day to Wes.
There's like a lot of people that think Jericho is going to come back to WWE.
He
should. He should come back to literally just make one final thing, one final storyline of some kind, and then retire and go into the Hall of Fame.
You know what he should do is bring the list back and go through the list and take everybody out that's on the list.
Including like all the caterers and shit that are on it. Random fucking
referees and cameramen and shit.
Chauffeurs and shit like that. It's so dumb.
Concessions guys.
Yeah. R-Truth is on there like 40 times for everything.
I said it to Wes the other day. We were playing Ready or Not or something.
Sure.
And I hadn't watched Night of Champions yet. It was like the night that it had happened.
It was like when it had happened.
And then he was talking. I was like, you know what? Just give me the spoilers because I've already seen like some of the Instagram shit. And we were talking about how I just don't know why they're continuing with the bloodline. It feels like it's dead already.
It feels like it died.
It culminated
when Roman lost the title.
Yeah.
They were building to a
bloodline
feud,
story,
and they did it. It already happened.
Yes, they already did the
and
whole
Roman got the beads and shit, and it's done.
So, yeah, it's weird that they're just trying to, like, rebuild it, and it's like, I don't know. Where are you going to go with that?
Yeah, I don't know. But I like Solo, and I don't mind him leading a faction, and I don't mind him necessarily calling it the Bloodline. We just know it's not the Bloodline.
It's not.
It's like the same thing that happened with Bullet Club. Like when the Bullet Club in New Japan came out, it was such a big deal.
There's just another.
But eventually, they did the same thing. There's just a million offshoots, and nobody's looking at the current Bullet Club going, "Oh, that's like when fucking Finn Balor."
But
well,
it can
Fergal,
be done. It can be done. I mean,
Prince.
Judgment Day did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can do it.
Well,
Revive
they're a very unique deal.
Yeah,
because they have always had this core that is functioning the whole time.
Well, yeah,
and some people come and go, but
on Raw, Roxanne basically is like officially in the Judgment Day.
Because Liv is apparently legitimately getting shoulder surgery.
Yeah, and they basically just like threw the title on her just to make it.
Well, they were gonna strip him or some shit, and then they like pleaded their case.
I guess I don't know how that works, but
to bring in to be like no. Well,
I mean, they should have just stripped them.
It's the Freebird rules though. They've been doing that for a long time. The Freebird rules were where like there were 3 people in the Freebirds,
right? So
but
2 of them,
any 2 of those 3 guys were able to defend the belts. They kind of did that with New Day for a while.
Yeah, the idea, I guess, is just to bring Roxanne in so they don't lose the title.
That's right. Yeah.
Which they have a lot of gold over there now.
Everybody's a champ right now.
Tag titles on both ends.
Tag titles, IC, and and women's tag.
Yep.
That's big. Yeah. Dude, I like that Liv goes away injured and
this
they're
actually
not
works
forgetting
out.
about her, but now the Judgment Day is suddenly firing on all cylinders well.
No, this works out really well for them.
It does.
Because, and it's like, it sucks that Liv got hurt, but that works. It plays perfectly.
This
because you wanted Roxanne already to already sort of
and
infiltrate.
Now she's going to slowly but surely win everybody over. And
Liv is
going to come back.
Dom's already going to, get attached to Roxanne.
I think Roxanne is slowly going to win Dom over.
Yep.
And then Liv's going to come back and be like, what the fuck is this shit?
That's the only way to do this. Yeah. I think.
Yep.
And that works out great. And it sucks that Liv's out but
it does.
It works really great for the storytelling.
It does, yeah. And Roxanne, it's funny. She, a few of these women came up and what do you do with them? And Roxanne got the best rub of all of them, honestly, because she came up and went right into the Judgment Day, which is one of the biggest factions they've had. One of the most consistent high-level factions they've had ever.
Huge
legit ever
opportunity for her.
Huge. Judgment Day is an institution at this point. One of the greatest factions of all time. Yeah. It legit is. The fact that it hasn't broken up and it's had some core unit of some amount of people working together for as long as it has, with multiple world champions.
Well, the other one,
and multiple title holders in the multiple divisions is crazy.
Yeah, I think the opposite end of that is New Day right now. They had this heel turn, and then there's not really anything there.
And it started so strong, but they were burdened by the fact that the heel turn was the big payoff, though. Like the big moment was the turn. So after that, what do you have left to do?
Yeah. It goes back to Raw not having a tag division.
That's right. Yeah.
That's fair. And I think that's why you need maybe 1 or 2 teams to come over.
If you don't have teams coming over, now that you have that big fucking Samoan question mark guy, make a tag team out of those guys to put in the tag division. Like they don't. I don't want to see less tag teams on SmackDown. I just want to see any tag teams on Raw other than just 2.
Yeah, Judgment Day and Judgment Day. Well, it's
Judgment Day,
Judgment Day,
fucking and New Day. That's it.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
And they're not even feuding. So it's and because they're both heels technically.
Yeah. And there's other teams, but like there's American Alpha or whatever they're called. There's those big fuck guys, stuff and they're good, but they just have 0 personality on the mic.
Yeah,
just 2 big wrestler guys. However, Chad Gable being injured or whatever, I don't think he actually is. He might be though, but either way,
I don't know.
he did do a lot of working recently, lots of work, and some really sketchy shit in the ring too. Like he was going all, dude, that fucked like
he's fucking crazy.
Oh my god! But anyways, Gable being gone, and then they go to what's her face there, that tiny wicked jacked girl that's his like right hand woman.
Oh, yeah. God damn it.
She is so good. She is the standout of that faction now. Ivy Nile?
Yeah, Ivy Nile.
Ivy Nile? She is fucking so good, dude. She is so good. So good. And I like that what they're doing with that is like, oh, Chad's out and he puts her in charge. Because the other two guys can barely talk on the mic without just being like, I'm happy to be here. You know what I mean? And she's like, can actually cut promos and is intense and wicked good in the ring.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind like intergender tag matches either.
It'd be so sick. We've been saying that for years, though.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily on the show, but I've maintained for a long time that I don't understand why intergender, at least tag, isn't more prevalent. Tag it is in other companies.
It happens sometimes.
It happens ever.
But it makes your like it just works like weird because it's like a legal tag switches both sides.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
I don't think I don't like that. I want to see a tag. They don't have to be a division, but more storyline tag matches that are like, you know, Dom and Liv versus fucking Rhea and Priest, like when they did that.
Oh yeah,
and you can actually have. Oh, Dom gets tagged in on purpose to fight Rhea, who then whips his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And just let the intergender actually fight.
Yeah, because there is a storyline there already.
Because Rhea might be the most believable person on the roster to beat Dom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she can do whatever the fuck she wants to. I
think that would be an interesting way to, like, power gauge some of the women.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And, it just comes back to, though, the divisions are all so stacked that it's hard to figure out what to do with half the people.
It's weird.
Because it's like, we don't even have the TV time. And now SmackDown's going back to 2 hours, which is good for the viewer.
I love that. Yeah.
I love that. But it is an hour less of space to do shit with guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you know.
It's just SmackDown was a drag, it felt like, for a while.
The best thing they could do, though, is make storylines take longer to get through. So you need less story taking place over a longer period of time by alternating stories bi-weekly.
Yeah, and they were doing that for a while.
Times. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need to see the Judgment Day every week. I can see them every other week.
That was a thing that they were doing for a while. Yeah. And just kind of stopped.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Because it makes stuff not get old too fast. You know what I mean? Which is what we want.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about was so I mentioned how Penta's debut was like huge and it was really well.
Oh yeah, what was the one you're thinking of?
There's the opposite end of that, and that would be Rusev.
Oh, just comes out and attacks dudes out of nowhere.
Well, I think
who was it that didn't just interrupt a match that fucking Aleister Black was supposed to have? Beat the fuck out of her. No, that was R-Truth. That was R-Truth, right?
Yeah, Truth did that.
Just beat the fuck out of a guy, poor guy, and Aleister was like, all right.
I like that he keeps coming out with the hoodie and shit.
Yeah,
But Rusev, I just feel like they didn't need to change his gimmick
at all. No,
like I think the theme song being different ruined it. I think it just doesn't have the same connection with the fans.
He could have came out exactly to the old music and shit.
Yeah, it just was that's a weird creative decision to me.
Having said that, I love Rusev, and I think that stuff will blow over because he instantly is having a match against Sheamus or whatever, and shocker, it was fucking nasty, and they beat the shit out of each other.
See, that's the only match I didn't watch.
Okay, yeah, the Sheamus and Rusev match was sick, and they kicked the shit out of each other.
For some reason, like Sheamus just isn't like that compelling to me anymore.
He's at the end of his career, though. Yeah. He's one of those guys that it's like he never has to win a belt ever again. He could just have legacy matches with his friends and retire tomorrow, and he goes straight in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Maybe I'll watch.
He's done it all a million times.
But the thing was,
let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
All things aside, what would you think the quality of the match would be? Rusev versus Sheamus. Just top of your head. Do you think that's an insane match?
No, I'd say like a B+ max. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just because I don't know. That's just because I don't.
I know
feel
you
like
haven't seen it.
I just don't feel like there's a there's nothing like I felt like why is this match happening?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I think you're dead on. I agree with you.
And
I would say the match was like a B because the work is of course going to be good, and it's two guys that are just big hosses, but they're athletic, absolutely beating the shit out of each other.
The personality
but
aspect.
The thing missing is why. You know what I mean?
Right. Why and why with either of them? Like, why do I believe either of these guys right now? Because Sheamus, like, I don't know, what really is he doing right now?
He's just
he's just there because he's a veteran.
Because he's a veteran, yeah.
And then you have Rusev, who's also technically a veteran, came back with a different theme song and different style, and it basically was just Miro.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know.
I think he came back as Miro. And the only reason he didn't use the Miro name is because Rusev's already a memorable name, who was a high-level guy. The problem is, again, that's a guy who was a world title level guy before he left.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if Lana,
right before.
I think if Lana was there, it would change the entire thing.
Well, if
I think she was a big part of why he was over too.
I think so too. Her coming out and doing the Russian accent and shit.
Yeah, I think she was a major part of that.
Major part.
She was the mouthpiece. He wasn't like a great talker.
No. He is a great talker.
But
like, at that time he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the promo he cut when he came back was god tier.
Mm-hmm.
He cut a wicked good promo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's definitely not bad now. It's a matter of he needed a manager at the time, and that she got over
so
really
good,
hard on that.
Dude.
Yeah,
they were both so good together.
It just made a lot of sense too.
Yeah.
So it sucks that gimmick is not what's.
Yeah, I hear you. I understand feeling that way for sure. Personally, I really like Rusev. And I'm excited to see what they do with him. I don't think that he's gonna necessarily just dip out.
I hope not. It's just one of those things I'm worried about.
He's so good. He's like a Sheamus guy, where he's just a legacy guy. You know,
too much. That's another one of those things. I'm worried about it because there's too much.
The theme of this whole episode is the roster's too stacked, and what do you do with like 2/3 of the guys?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
where do they fit in?
And that's when you have 3 2-hour-long shows absolutely stuffed to the max with content and rotating content, and there's still not enough room to do shit with like 50,000 guys on the roster. You know what I mean?
They need
it's so overstacked.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
They almost got to put another fucking show on.
And there's no way. It's too much. It's too much, man.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. I don't know what. I think they do need to go back to like bi-weekly type of storyline telling,
so you could fit in double the amount of guys.
It was working great.
It was working great. Yeah, I think that's the move too as well.
I don't even know if they realized they were doing it or not.
I don't think so. But that was the shit. That was when it was all cylinders. Everything was amazing.
That would have been. It was kind of like right after WrestleMania 40, right?
The lead up to 40. Was doing that as well, and then right after 40 they were doing that,
and then it's weird, they kind of like it all is sort of starting to blend.
It's hard when you have one of the greatest WrestleManias ever, with one of the greatest WrestleMania buildups ever, with one of the greatest, if not the greatest WrestleMania moment ever.
Right now you gotta
know what I mean. Good luck 41 was a really solid Mania that felt like it was wicked. Who cares, because 40 was right before it. How are you going to ever compete with that? It's like, it was so tough. Like WrestleMania 18 was so cool because it felt so crazy only because Hogan Rock, you know? And then 19 was Rock Austin 3. And then 20 was fucking Benoit, Triple H, and Michaels. So you were already playing with all these established guys and stuff, you know? Right. So they had a crazy run there. But even the ones I just mentioned, they didn't feel as good as 17. I don't remember 18, 19, and 20 like, oh, these were the greatest WrestleManias ever. Because I look at 17 and go, where's the match on that card that's not the most legendary thing you've ever heard of?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a few. We've looked at the card and went, oh, really? TNA had a tag team match on here? Tits and Ass or Test and Albert? is what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they had a tag team match
like
with 2 question mark guys, and we just went, why?
Yeah, but there's also like
who gives
8 matches on
TLC.
That. Yeah.
And fucking, what was it? TLC, Angle Benoit, Taker Triple H, Shane versus Vince, you know? Rock Austin, ridiculous. Too, with the Limp Bizkit video built package, dude. Oh, my God. The actual greatest build ever.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So one more thing I do want to talk about real quick before we get out of here, which is Evolution 2 is happening.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be fucking nasty.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
It's next week, right? They're doing a Saturday night main event, and then the next night, that Sunday, is Evolution.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. The first
That's
one.
That's going to be a tough, it's going to be a long weekend, dude.
It is, yeah.
That's going to be, because you got
It's also my wife's 40th birthday. My wife's 40th birthday is that weekend.
So you got, Jesus Christ. Yeah, because All In is that Saturday.
Yeah.
And then you have Saturday night's main event.
Yep.
Evolution. You got the Friday SmackDown.
Monday. Yep, Friday. Yep.
Raw,
so Friday
Monday.
SmackDown. Yeah, too much going on, man. So much. But the number one, if I can only catch one show all weekend, it's Evolution, because the first one was so good, and the women's division is so good across all the shows, and you just know it's going to be maxed. And the matches they have for it already are so good, dude. Like Rhea versus Io Sky for the title is absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah. I think for me, it's All In.
You think so?
That's the one.
Oh, All In Texas is Saturday, right?
Yeah, and that match is going to be a Texas death match now.
I didn't even think of that. That might be it for me too.
Hangman and Moxley is going to be a Texas death match.
Cool. Hangman, Mox, and then
man, it's just
Kazuchika Okada versus Omega.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And then
Tony versus Sasha.
Mercedes
Moné. Whatever. Fucking it's Sasha.
And then you have, and then on, I want to see Goldberg and Gunther.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of wrestling to watch.
A lot. That week. And I won't be watching it all that. There's just no way I'll be watching it all live. Yeah, it'll have to be getting watched that it would be following week.
Next weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So then we'll have a show Thursday. We'll have to talk about all that shit.
Yeah, that'll be.
Jeez.
That show will come out the 18th.
Yeah. Yep. So the episode of the 18th, we'll be talking about all that stuff.
Yep. Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of notes.
Yep.
A lot of notes.
Yep. For sure. Cool, man.
All right, that's it. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching, listening, whatever. We appreciate it.
We always do.
Really, it's like, we want you to like and subscribe and do all that stuff. But honestly, we're just happy that you're watching.
That's right. Yeah. Doing all that stuff helps us and helps get us visibility so more people can get in on what we're trying to do and join the conversation and stuff. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
and that's all cool and welcome. But like you just said, we really just are passionate about this. And it's just really cool to have people even listen. You know what I mean?
Right. We're just doing this for fun. So.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go over to w.gg, use that promo code if you want to help us. And if not, then don't. You know what I mean? There you go. Check out the website, all that kind of stuff. We got some stuff going on there. I would like to do some. We got to do our match watching.
We keep trying to figure out the time to get back.
I got my week off, so we should do.
Yeah,
one
we're gonna do one this weekend for sure.
It's weird because it never culminates for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but we're gonna make it happen this weekend for sure. Yeah.
All right, that's it. Thank you guys for watching.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, man.
Peace.